Top focus this evening is on the situation currently in North India. It seemed like the worst was over, but unfortunately, once again, the people of Uttarakhand as well as Himachal woke up to chaos. Flash floods triggered by sudden cloud bursts, leaving behind a trail of destruction. Dehradun in Uttarakhand, Mandi in Himachal. These are the two worst affected districts. We'll take you, in fact, through the situation first in Dehradun, where the heavy water current destroyed homes, roads. So you see on your screens there, a temple almost completely submerged. The NDRF immediately stepped in to help with relief and rescue operations. And then there's Himachal Pradesh, which already has seen horrifying damage as a result of the monsoon. This is the aftermath of a flash flood in Mandi. Vehicles swept away, shops completely destroyed, and this is in the heart of Mandi that the entire road has completely caved in. Let's get you a sense of what the situation is currently in these two districts, as the hills clearly have been broken this monsoon.
ये रात को 10 बजे घटना हुई है। एक बादल फटा कांडली घाट में और एक फटा ऊपर बांखाले में।
The hills in North India are facing a massive flood fury. States of Uttarakhand and Himachal are battling immense deluge. Multiple deaths have been reported in Himachal, while at least 2 people are reportedly missing in Dehradun. The hill states have seen extensive damage to key bridges and arterial roads. The rains leaving behind a trail of destruction, with multiple locations reported to be underwater. The Tapkeshwar Mahadev temple in Uttarakhand's Dehradun has suffered extensive damage after the Tamsa river, which got swollen by torrential rains and a cloudburst, inundated the temple premises. In Uttarakhand, late-night strong rains in the Sahasradhara area of Dehradun flooded hotels and shops, with the main market suffering structural damages.
You can see that behind David Hotel, there's another building which was also devastated after the flash flood struck the Sahasradhara area last night. And according to locals, there were 2 incidents of cloudburst, which has caused flash flood, and Sahasradhara river is also flowing in spate right now. Clearly visible over here, the building is quite sensitive and can fall any point in time if there's another struck of calamity or if there's another pressure. It may cause the building to fall and completely merge in the river, and this is going to be very devastating.
Torrential rains from a cloudburst in Sahasradhara in Dehradun triggered landslides. Heavy downpours destroyed houses, washed away cars, and inundated shops in the hilly region. Many have been stranded.
यहाँ पर आर पार जाना भी बहुत मुश्किल भरा काम है और काफी जोखिम भरकर लोग जो हैं जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पर एक पूरा क्षेत्र जो है मलबे में तब्दील हो गया है और यहाँ पर लोग मौजूद हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से ये पूरा रास्ता क्लियर हो, वो अपने घर जा सकें। ये देखिए, पूरा जो पानी है वो उफान पर बह रहा है और इस रास्ते को पार करना लगभग असंभव है, क्योंकि पूरी तरीके से ये नदी में तब्दील हो चुका है।
3 people of a family were killed in Himachal Pradesh's Mandi district. Flood waters inundated the Dharampur bus stand, sweeping away several Himachal Road Transport Corporation buses. Traffic has been disrupted on at least 500 roads across the state. The Met Department has announced a red alert for the next 24 hours and has ordered schools to remain closed. With Ankit Sharma in Dehradun, Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, let's bring in Ankit Sharma, who's joining us live from Dehradun to get us a sense of what the current situation is. Ankit, we understand that the NDRF, SDRF has been working round the clock to rescue all of those stranded. What's the current situation? Have the water levels come down? Is there a warning for more rainfall in the coming days?
हाँ सर, पैच कर दीजिए।
Ankit, can you hear me? Apologies. Don't think Ankit is with us. We're going to reconnect with him and get you a sense of what the current situation is in Dehradun, because the images that you see on your screens are terrifying. It shows the kind of damage and destruction caused as a result of a cloudburst. Water levels have gone up to unprecedented levels. This was the situation about 2 weeks ago. And then there was a lull, which led to hope that things were under control, that the worst is behind us. And again, in the last 24 hours, you see those visuals on your screens. Ankit is back with us. Ankit, if you can hear me, take us through the current situation in Dehradun and what's the forecast for the next 24 hours?
Well, Akshita, the situation is grim right now, and the monsoon doesn't seem to be looking for bidding goodbye to Uttarakhand. And you can see that in the last 24 hours, it has caused havoc in many parts of the outer Dehradun and the capital as well. Earlier, it was started with Dharali, then it shifted to Tharali in Chamoli, and now it has come to Dehradun after incidents of extreme rainfall events in many areas in Dehradun. It caused flash flood, which struck not only Sahasradhara but Maldevta region and the outer Dehradun area as well, in Sahaspur and in Rishikesh as well, where Chandrabhaga river was also flowing in spate. Now, in the next 24 hours, the IMD has also once again cautioned people to stay away from the rivulets and river drains, because again, if the situation arises, it may cause more damage that it caused yesterday, because the accumulation of river and water may swell once again, and it can reach into the city areas and may also cause water logging, and it may also cause devastation in the midst of the city and bustling area as well. Now, as far as the weather is concerned, in the next 24 hours, Dehradun is also under the red alert warning, and the weather department is continuously looking after the situation, the cloud movements, and so far 13 people have died in the monsoon fury since last night. 8 were killed after the trolley swept away in Tons River of Dehradun, while others were killed in different incidents in other parts of Dehradun. So far, the calamity struck heavily in Dehradun and nearby regions only.
The next 24 hours, you could actually see more damage, more destruction. Based on what Ankit tells us, there is a red alert for the next 24 hours issued by the Met Department. So what you see on your screens there of the rivers in spate, of so much of flooding, that could actually get worse. And how much really can towns like Dehradun actually take on, looking at the damage that's already been created? Very concerning. And like Ankit pointed out, it looks like it's only going to get worse going forward in the next few days. But just to give you a sense of really the scale of destruction that's been caused in the last 24 hours alone in Dehradun and other parts of Uttarakhand, let's get you some of those images coming in. Flood waters on the roads of the Sahasradhara have overturned vehicles, and nearby residents have been advised to stay away from the raging waters. Shops and homes clearly submerged. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami, along with his team, visited the disaster-affected areas for an on-site inspection. And these were areas which are very badly affected. Roads have been completely washed away, so getting to these locations itself is a huge, huge challenge. In Uttarakhand's Premnagar, an NDRF team successfully rescued a person who was trapped with an electricity pole in the swollen Tonk River. The administration remains on high alert amid the disaster, because there are many, many such rescues that are needed now. This is the Sahasradhara market in Dehradun that's been submerged. Usually a bustling market. Now there's only water going right through the area, and flood waters continue to surge through the area. All shops are shut. For now, in this particular area, there's been no reports of loss of life or of property. Now, with these cloudbursts, with these floods, there are so many people who are impacted beyond what you see in the destruction and devastation. For example, in Kashmir, apple supply completely hit. Thousands of tons of apples are actually rotting in trucks that are stranded along the Srinagar-Jammu National Highway that's actually been closed for the last 20 days. And there's nothing you can do about it because the roads have been completely washed away. So it's extremely dangerous to open up these highways as well. Farmers not sure about what to do with all of this produce. You can see the decaying and rotten apples there. Angry farmers, therefore, are protesting the government's inaction. Viral images showing piles of spoiled apples now dumped near the road. Kashmir accounts for 80% of India's apple production, and so the prolonged closure has severely disrupted the supply chain.
नुकसान सब अरबों में खरबों में नुकसान हो गया लोगों का। कोई छोटा व्यापारी उसको छोटा हिसाब से नुकसान हो गया, कोई बड़ा व्यापारी है उसको बहुत नुकसान हो गया, सबको कुल मिला के सबको नुकसान हो गया, वो भी रोड के कारण से।
All right, let's move on to the Supreme Court having given a clean chit to Vantara. All allegations of smuggling, violation of statutory laws and sourcing animals have been dropped. The court categorically stated that there was nothing wrong with the transfer of temple elephants to Reliance Foundation's Vantara initiative as long as due procedure was followed. The top court bench noted that the committee appointed to examine the issue had submitted its report, which recorded satisfaction with the regulatory compliance. The top court not only gave a clean chit to Vantara, but also said that no court or administrative forum in the country will entertain any complaint or proceedings on these allegations in future. Now, the order of the apex court was based on a special investigation team report, an SIT report, chaired by former Supreme Court Judge Justice Chalameshwar, along with 3 other members.
In a big development today, the top court of the country has issued notices to many states challenging the anti-conversion law in these states. Some of these states, including Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan. A state like Rajasthan has some stringent anti-conversion laws which can actually put you behind bars for life. The petitioners say that these laws are being misused, especially where inter-religious couples are concerned. The top court of the country today has now given 4 weeks' time for these states to respond on the anti-conversion law in their state.
The Supreme Court has asked several states to form responses on petitions challenging anti-conversion laws. They have been granted 4 weeks to respond. The petitioners have claimed that the laws were being used to harass inter-religious couples and restrict religious observances. The states notified by the apex court in the matter include Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Haryana, Jharkhand and Karnataka. The petitions brought by various organizations including Jamaat-e-Ulema Hind and Citizens for Justice and Peace allege that the anti-conversion laws are being weaponized to target individuals from different religious backgrounds. Now both the petitioners and the respondent states have been given a time-bound opportunity to present comprehensive arguments.
It's a batch of petitions which have been filed by a range of petitioners challenging the different laws passed by states which go under the name of freedom of religion, but that is actually more of a misnomer. What these laws actually do is to create so many hurdles in the exercise of freedom of conscience, as well as people who may choose to voluntarily, freely convert or make marriages of their choice.
The bench of Chief Justice of India B.R. Gavai and Justice K. Vinod Chandra would consider whether to grant a stay on the operation of the laws after receiving responses from the states. The next hearing on the matter is scheduled to take place in 6 weeks. With Anisha Mathur, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to cut across right now to our legal correspondent, Anisha Mathur, who's joining us live for more. Anisha, can you get us up to speed with the latest development coming in from the top court? Some of these laws in certain states have been deeply contentious. For example, Rajasthan, where somebody can be put behind bars under the anti-conversion law for life.
Well, yes, Preeti, we've seen these petitions remain pending for almost 4-5 years now. Some of these petitions, particularly those which challenged the UP anti-conversion law, the MP conversion law, have been pending since 2020. And now fresh applications have been moved saying that these matters need to be heard on an urgent basis, especially since some states, including Rajasthan, UP, Madhya Pradesh, are coming up with amendments to these laws which are making them even stricter. One of the arguments that was made before the court today was that with these recent amendments, with the newer laws being brought by some of the states, as you said, Rajasthan, the punishments are getting stricter. The people who can complain regarding fraudulent conversions is being made more arbitrary, and that is where senior advocate C.U. Singh had argued today that this will cause a problem, and this is being in fact used in some states to harass couples who are in interreligious relationships. It is even being used by some in some areas to cause problems when it comes to religious observances. In fact, even for festivals of certain religions which are being held, even there some mobs have come in, and these were the examples that were given by the before the court by the lawyers, saying that there must be a stay on operation, particularly of these amended provisions, because first of all what they've done is made the anti-conversion law extremely stringent. Minimum 7 years or to 20 years of imprisonment has been is now an option. In fact, even life imprisonment for fraudulent or deceitful conversion. How a provision is considered, how a conversion is considered fraudulent or deceptive is something that is not defined. If this is something that even the court has questioned, how exactly is somebody saying that XYZ has converted through fraud? That needs to be defined properly. So a lot of questions are being asked about these laws, and remember there are at least 10 states in the country which have these extremely stringent laws. So after 4 weeks now, all of these states will file their response. Back to you.
Right. Anisha, after four weeks' time for all of these states, to file in their responses, but some of the petitioners, Anisha, are actually interreligious married couples where laws of anti-conversion have been slapped.
Well, yes, Preeti, if you see what the petitions are in the court, there are about 15 petitions before the court, including, in fact, a suo motu matter that the Supreme Court itself had taken up in 2022. This was when some reports had come in of interreligious couples being harassed. There were, in fact, petitions filed by some couples who said that we've had to run away and seek police protection because these laws are being misused against us. So we'll have to see how this is going to be taken up, because these matters, as I said, have been pending for several years now. The initial petitions had come in back in 2020 when the UP law had come in. And the questions about harassment, the questions about harassing not just couples but also religious practitioners, about interfering in religious ceremonies, those have been raised multiple times. And now, once again, with these petitions now saying there must be a stay on these acts, and particularly on the new amendments, we'll see what happens after 6 weeks when the matters are taken up again. Back to you.
All right, Anisha, appreciate you joining us. All right, viewers, well, that's the latest development that happened today. But let's cut across to a controversy that's brewing in Karnataka, where it comes down to conversion. The Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's one comment has led to a massive political ideological blowout, where he said inequality in Hinduism exists. That's why there was conversion. What began as a statement on freedom of faith has now escalated into a full-blown political war. The BJP accusing the Congress of targeting Hindu belief.
If there was equality, there would be no conversion. In Hinduism, if there was equality, nobody would convert. It's over these comments by Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah that a polarizing religion fight has taken center stage. Siddaramaiah, while speaking on the contentious issue of conversions, claimed that it was due to inequality in Hinduism.
ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವರು ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯ ಪರಿಣಾಮವಾಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹಿಂದೂ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಸಮಾನತೆ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ? ಸಮಾನ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ಸಮಾನತೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಸ್ಪೃಶ್ಯತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂತು?
Siddaramaiah then suggested that conversions have nothing to do with political parties, highlighting that it was people's choice to do so.
ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಲಪ್ಪ, ಮುಸಲ್ಮಾನ್ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಕ್ರಿಶ್ಚಿಯನ್ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲರೂ ಇರಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಅಥವಾ BJP ಅವರು ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
But this comment by the Karnataka Chief Minister has left the BJP fuming, accusing Siddaramaiah of only speaking of inequalities in Hinduism and not other religions.
Is there any equality in other religions? I don't want to elaborate because it is going to hurt people. But no religion can bring equality. Religion is made on a hierarchical basis, all the religions. This government, unconstitutionally, first of all, they don't have a right to do census.
But the Congress is bracing it out, with ministers like Priyanka Kharge firing a Manusmriti counter to highlight that inequalities do exist in Hinduism.
Hindu religion, there is the Chaturvarna, where people are segregated based on the work they do in society. And it is very aptly clear that certain sections of the society were not entertained in that ambit. And that's why many of them started new religions. Why did Sikhism start? Why did Jainism start? Why did Buddhism start? Why did Lingayatism start in Karnataka? All these religions started because there was inequality in the prevalent religions then.
BJP is trying to protect the Varna system. BJP doesn't want anybody to question the hierarchical system where human beings have been made to believe that you are of lower Varna, you belong to this kind of a class and caste, you have to do only this particular work. It is a fact that the majority of the population in the Hindu religion does not get the opportunity that the upper communities, the cream of that religion gets.
With the BJP renewing its anti-Hindu attack at Congress, it remains to be seen if Siddaramaiah will backtrack or stand by his remarks. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's quickly cut across to our guest this evening. Joining me, Surabhi Hodiger, spokesperson BJP, Lavanya Balal, spokesperson Congress, Dr. Sandeep Shastri, political analyst. Dr. Shastri, you know, it's interesting because it's a politically loaded statement that the Chief Minister of Karnataka had made, but it doesn't come without context and audience, because a lot of the same interplay where you know, he might be speaking about conversion here, but he's addressing the extremely backward caste, the Dalits, and even the OBCs.
I think there is no question of doubt that what the Chief Minister said about inequality within the Hindu religion is a reality. But then to stretch that and say, because of this inequality within Hindu religion, and linking that to conversions, I think is stretching a comment beyond what it should be stretched. It's overstepping or overstretching, I would say, an argument or a very, very liberal interpretation of what is reality. So while I concede the point that Hinduism has been marked by tremendous inequality and that fight must go on for social justice, I would be a little hesitant in linking that inequality within Hinduism to the consequence of conversion. I don't see that as a direct relationship. I see them as two distinctly different set of issues, and that needs to be recognized.
But you know, but Dr. Shastri, if you look at it, traditionally for many castes, especially, you know, and history stands testimony to it, of those castes that have fallen through the crevices of social integration have usually then gravitated towards a certain faith. We've seen those mass conversions, you know, that have happened in the Dalit belts of northern India, or even where the tribals of the northeast are concerned.
Even if that were to be conceded, I think we also need to remember the counter argument that is coming up that if conversion happened because of the inequality in Hinduism, did it go away after conversion? No, it did not, because the same system of hierarchy continued where they went to. So I think we need to separate these facts. Beyond a shadow of doubt, conversion on fraud, allurement, and personal gain should not happen. Also concede the fact that inequality within Hinduism is a reality and that should be fought and that social justice should be achieved. However, linking the two could be a little hesitant in doing that.
All right, okay. I want to bring in Lavanya Balal into this conversation. Lavanya Balal, it's a politically loaded statement. You might be talking to a particular constituency, but having what it looks like optics-wise and what Dr. Shastri also says, you're overstretching it by stating that conversion happens because there are caste inequalities. You're practically giving a free pass to conversion.
Good evening, Preeti. If you look at Karnataka's case, where we have anti-conversion laws that were enacted by the BJP government, the previous government in Karnataka, the current one. At that point of time, there was one BJP MLA, Mr. Gulihatti Shekhar, who said his mother was forcefully converted to Christianity, and there is a village where people have been forcefully converted to Christianity. So the government, the then government, the BJP government, did the right thing in setting up an committee to look into these accusations. And the people there, including Mr. Koratti's mother, she said, no one has forced me to convert, and I find more peace and happiness after conversion. Now, when Mr. Shastri says we cannot link it, it is, stretching it a little bit. Now, the question is, most of the times, Preeti, when you're on social media, people from the BJP ecosystem mock a lot of Christians say rice bags. They also say your ancestors converted or you are converting for 2 bags of rice. Now, this raises a question, and multiple times people have said that people who belong to the oppressed communities are looked down upon and they're treated so badly. All that they want is a better social standing, and that is why they convert. Now, if you look at the atrocities on Dalits in India, UP, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh top the list of atrocities, but that does not mean it does not exist in Karnataka or in any other state. 4 years ago in Kolar, when a boy from the Dalit community touched a god in the procession, the entire family was boycotted. There is a case in Tamil Nadu just a few months ago where a Dalit man bought a bullet bike and his hand was chopped. Please tell me which human being would agree continuously be subjugated these kind of atrocities and profiling because he belongs to a particular caste, and not go to a place where maybe he's offered better opportunities. CM Siddaramaiah also made a very pertinent statement yesterday that if you convert, once you convert, you will lose all the benefits of previous community that you were. For example, if I'm a Dalit and I convert to Christianity tomorrow or Islam tomorrow, I will lose all the benefits that a Dalit can avail in Karnataka state.
I want to cut across to the BJP spokesperson, Surabhi here. Surabhi, the fact is, it's a statement which the Congress says is being misconstrued, but it's also rooted in history, where we've seen conversion across the country, especially where the tribal belts are concerned, or the extremely backward, or the Dalit, where it's given them social legitimacy.
The constituency the Chief Minister is speaking to when he makes a statement like this is not the backward, it's not the Dalits, it is a bunch of people who like to hear about the ills of the faith that shaped this land on a constant basis, whether it was Dharmasthala, whether it was Madhur or elsewhere in Karnataka in the last couple of days. What we're speaking about here is social inequality that exists across religions, unfortunately. If that were not true, I reinstate the point made by Mr. Sandeep Shastri. Today in Karnataka, when the caste survey is taking place, there is a Madiga Christian, there is a Brahmin Christian. All these categories are coming forth, which is to go on and show that inequality has pervaded religion. So that's something that we have to accept. Every society has its ills. We have ours too. We have also had a Basavarna, we have also had a Kanakadasa, we've had all these great social reformers who have spoken again and again about the ills in society that needed to be fixed. We fix our homes. That is the larger message. For a CM, for a chief minister, when the caste survey is being about to be conducted, for him to make a statement like this, sorry, what was the need? I don't see him going around and making statements about other religions and their flaws, saying that women are not allowed to be, go into the mosques, women are not allowed to do so and so in other places. We need to fight against the social ills that exist in our country, in every faith. But that is not to single out and call out and say something. And to say that conversion happens merely because of inequality is also to forget certain history, Preeti, where conversion has happened because of the sword, where conversion has happened because a colonized population did not have access to resources. These sort of things also need to be accounted for. We've also seen viral videos across social media where conversion happens because of superstitious beliefs, because of allurement. That is why an anti-conversion law comes into place. And let us remember again, there is a difference between the faiths that we're talking about. Sanatan Dharma does not have the concept of a conversion. You believe in X, Y, Z, A, Y, A, B, A, B, C, D, whatever it is, you go to the same God. Whereas there are certain faiths that do have that concept. Therefore, we need to be able to protect our believers. Therefore, such laws are imperative, not just in Karnataka, not just in the states. It is constitutionally also, verified that you should not have conversions on a consented basis. Therefore, what the CM has said today is not to speak to any audience, but to his audience that likes to again and again demean one faith at the cost of another.
All right, I'm going to just take final comments. I know, Lavanya, you want to come in, but I want to bring in Dr. Shastri. Dr. Shastri, do you think this as a political faux pas or Siddaramaiah looking to address a particular constituency?
Ma'am, in today's political debate, every point that people made are taken in context, out of context, beyond context, behind the words, all those become important. So I think it's critical for those in the public domain to understand that what they say can have multiple implications. Going back to the Chief Minister's statement, I am one with the Chief Minister in believing that inequality is a reality and needs to be fiercely dealt with. We have not taken enough steps. We have not been strong enough. We have not been assertive enough to deal with this inequality. Yet, in the same breath, to then say that this inequality as a byproduct produces conversion, I would be a little hesitant in saying that. Conversion has been a result of a range of factors, and the Supreme Court, of course, has maintained it should not be on fraud, allurement, and personal gain. But then these terms are subject to very, very flexible interpretation. So I think the Chief Minister was making, number one, a right point, but when that point continued, it seemed to stretch into an argument which can be controversial or can be contested. So yes, inequality in Hindu society is a reality which needs to be challenged. Does that inequality by itself and in a vacuum result in conversion? I think there are people like me who have our reservations on that particular point.
Lavanya Balal, would you want to come in and weigh in on it? Because, at one end, many would suggest there's really nothing wrong with what Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister, said. But on the other account, taking off from what Dr. Shastri said, maybe you're stretching it a bit much. When there is so much nuance where conversion in India has come into question. And this is one area where your party has always, been challenged, been questioned, that you gaslight. You don't want to accept that there have been conversions, which have been beyond just inequality.
I would like to remind everybody of Article 25 of Indian Constitution, which gives me the right to practice any religion I want to. Today, I am building Hindu temples. I am, one of the major contributors to multiple Hindu temples. Does that mean tomorrow I'm not allowed to do that because of the narrow confines by which the BJP is defining it? Also, when we are talking about conversion, let us not forget the inequality that exists. When people are saying, oh, there is a caste survey in Karnataka, I'm sorry, it is a socio-economic survey of the backward community and not a caste survey. I think people should get that term correct, because there is huge difference between a caste survey and a socio-economic survey. Also, Preeti, I would have appreciated it if somebody on the debate was here who has converted or who has seen up close and personal somebody being converted. I'll tell you what, I have been witness to one of the first Garvapsis in India, and I've seen the impact that it had on his life, Preeti, and it was not nice. It was a Garvapsi case, and I've seen that. We are not gaslighting. We will stand by people who want to practice any religion that they want to. We will object to anybody being converted forcefully or, through allurement. But we will also object to draconian laws that are brought to harass people under the guise of anti-conversion laws.
Well, that law has already been contended, and we did speak about it. Today, the Supreme Court has given a 4-week notice for all states to come up on. But quickly, I want to bring in the BJP spokesperson, Surabhi, into this conversation. She wanted to come in for a rebuttal. Surabhi, go ahead.
This entire conversation, I've heard the Congress say that conversion out of Hinduism because of, through anecdotal evidence, also because of inequalities, is something we must support. But reconversion back to Hinduism is something that anecdotally is telling us that it's bad. Either of these things have zero, data to back them, nor do they have any sort of equanimity in it. If somebody wants to practice a certain faith, that is their individual decision. What we are against is forced conversions, allurement. All of these, I'm sure that the Congress also agrees, because this is something that they have also spoken for from the founding stages. Why have they suddenly changed their mind? They've changed their minds because they want to speak to a certain, set of people for whom talking about, I want to state this again, talking about the ills in one society versus no ills in the other society catches votes. I don't understand. Why is that so incredibly important? The backdrop also, Ms. Lavanya Ballal, is that we are going through a Jati Samikshe. This is your words of your leaders here in Karnataka, which translates to caste survey. You're doing a socio-economic survey, fine. You recently did an SC/ST survey, which was only 57% coverage. You should have done that better, given your government's absolute concern for the most backward. You did not do that properly. We have also had a situation where the survey that's going to be done, we don't know whether it's going to produce the results or not. There are technical questions on. So instead of going round these arguments, why conversion should happen, not the ills in Hinduism, not doing anthropological studies on what worked or didn't work, run your government in such a way that it impacts the people who have the least of the least. We have that concern. We are doing a caste census across the country to ensure, there is...
I know Lavanya Ballal wants to come in. I really don't have the time.
Please.
I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate all three of you for joining us this evening. We're going to let it be. We're going to leave it for our viewers to decide on where they stand on the comment of Mr. Siddaramaiah, because clearly it's found an echo where Karnataka is concerned. But the larger debate, viewers, is also around what the Supreme Court has said, asking many states to come up with their response on the anti-conversion law in their state.